Welcome. I'm back. Today is Monday, May 13th, 2013, and I had a couple of glitches here, so I had decided I'm just going to start all over and do the show correctly with everything in place. So, this is the Francis Revels-Bey show, and of course I'm Bishop Francis E. Revels-Bey. Some of you know me as Brother Francis Revels-Bey. And of course, this is our podcast, Circle of Grace 1. Today's show will be entitled Set Yourself Free, and I just had to set myself free. It's interesting how these glitches come about, and I'm learning after 5 years almost of broadcasting one way or the other on the internet that you don't expect anything. You just relax and have fun and just don't let it disturb you. Well, here I am. This is an opportunity for me to share some spiritual teachings that can bless you one way or another. So I would like to first of all welcome and greet many of you through divine grace and remembrance. That's what this is all about. Being blessed with ease and effortlessness, and that we have the beauty, the inner beauty to remember our divine presence, our own divine presence, our I am presence. That we're divine beings here and we're just having a human experience. So, when you're dealing with the electronics on the human plane, it doesn't work out often to the way that you like it. I want to make 2 announcements, and then I'm going to open up with a prayer. One of the things is I'm back on Ustream.tv. I'm going to do 2 live video streaming broadcasts per month. But instead of using 2 different days in the month, I'm going to put it all on the first day of the month, of each month, starting Monday, June the 3rd, and every first Monday thereafter. So you can expect it July 1st and August the 5th, and the first Monday in September, the first Monday in October, November, and December. I'm going to come on 1 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, and I'm going to come back with a 10 p.m. show. Now, my hope here is not expecting to put so much pressure out there, but the beauty of this is that there'll be two different live streaming shows. So I might talk about maybe numerology and other things and meditation during the daytime, or I might talk about some spiritual principles during the daytime. And for that 10 p.m. show, Mountain Standard Time, I could come out with some deeper information. Now, people will be up all over the planet. All over the planet. So some people wanted a late night one, and some people wanted that early afternoon, and you got it. And it starts on June the 3rd. All you have to do is go to Ustream, that's USTREAM.tv/channel/circle of grace with the number 1. That's my channel. Or just go in the search bar at Ustream.tv and just type in Circle of Grace with the number 1. No dashes, and it'll go right to my show. Okay, and I'm going to do it 1 p.m. Starting on June the 3rd, and come right back on June the 3rd at night at 10 p.m. Okay, if you want to contact me through any of my formats and shows, just send me an email to iam.circleofgrace with the number 1 at the end at yahoo.com, or Bishop Francis, BISHOPFRANCIS at circleofgrace1.net, or iam.circleofgrace with the number 1 at the end at gmail.com. You can always Skype me as Brother Francis Revels-Bey, or just call the Skype number 973-685-5978. And you can also listen to a spiritual meditational decree at 505-717-4722. You can dial that 505 number 24 hours a day. Listen to this beautiful 2-minute spiritual meditational decree, and then leave your message. All right. And so we're going to talk about today the beauty of setting yourself free. And I'm going to help set you free with this prayer. Through divine power and by divine grace, may you, who are listening to this program, and I hope all of you had a splendid Mother's Day with your great-grandmothers, your moms, your grandmoms, and your granddads too, your single parents, all of those who have been on that path where they had to raise children. And those of you who didn't have children, were also raising children too. You had to be at some point a role model for some other child that's out there. Maybe you're a big brother and big sister, so you deserve an applause for being in that and being able to give your love and share your love and help the young minds which are coming up now, help them be able to step into their glory, which what I mean is into their beauty, into their grace now, not when they get to be 30 years old, but help them get into that, what they strive to do, help them get there now, because that's very, very important. Whether they're indigo children, rainbow children, crystal children, help them now. Put them on the path now. And you're going to have an opportunity to see children mentoring children, and that's going to be helpful too. All right, so you want to know that this prayer, the beauty of today's program, and in this prayer, is so that you can open up the new doors and walk into new horizons, so that you can also bless yourself with your remembrance of who you are, and bless others that are in your life, in your surroundings, in your circles. So today's program, amen, and so shall it be, is set yourself free. Many times we've got a lot of pent-up old data in our minds, in our hearts, especially in our head, because we're always expecting something to be based on whatever teachings that we have acquired. And what we have to realize is that your parents did the best that they could do at that time under certain conditions. Your grandparents did the best that they could do. Your great-grands, your siblings did the best that they could do. Not everybody had a full consciousness, a full understanding of how the divine, how the divine beauty and harmony was supposed to be in place. Those who wanted to be moms and dads didn't understand what it was going to take to be a mom and a dad. You didn't have manuals all the time. You didn't have books. You had that live, living, hands-on experience. Many of you know what that's like if you have children, and especially if you have to do it by yourself. It's different than one who's watching your children, babysitting for you. It's far different. Some people learn it just by having pets in the house. And pets, they're not really pets. They're divine beings in furry form or in winged form or in other forms. But they demand nothing. They just offer their loyalty and their faith in you through unconditional love. And your children do the same through unconditional love. Your mates and spouses have done the same through unconditional love. Everybody has a way of expressing that, but we all have acquired some form of baggage in our lives. The late Jose Silva used to say, fear is false expectations appearing real. And how many of us in this listening audience expected a mate or a spouse to make you happy? And when they didn't make you happy, you felt upset with them. But then you learn through trial and error, through daily experience, it's not up to them to make you happy. It's totally up to you to make yourself happy, to make yourself a joyful person, to have what? To be able to enjoy joy from within, to know that you have it on the inside of you and let it bubble to the surface. How many people expected when they wanted something for, whether for Christmas or for, or if it was for their birthday, they wanted a special gift and they expected their parents to deliver it. But what if they had financial hardships? Parents weren't able to deliver it. So the parents didn't want to make a promise to the child. Or maybe you wanted to do something through a friend and you expected that friend to be there. Well, you can't expect anybody to be there for you, but you can expect yourself to be there for you. See, if you're there for yourself, with gratitude for yourself, then what you expect from the human side is not going to be there. But what comes through is the divine side, that which is really meant to be there. So we have to think about how to set ourselves free. I mentioned earlier, and I really didn't have it lined up in the broadcast. I'm going to say it again. This is the 13th of May in the 13th year of the millennium 2000. And 13 is the number of power and dominion. It's the right use of power. That means when you understand that you're in a position of authority, you don't abuse it. You don't abuse your political office. You don't abuse your office as husband or wife, mom or dad, grandparent, elder. You don't abuse it. You don't abuse your position as a teacher, mentor, whatever. But if you're in that human state of mind, you fall into the trap. And the trap is the ego. Your personal ego. That little 10% of you that thinks it knows everything and it doesn't know anything but to look for more damaging material and damaging experiences. So we find ourselves moving through old opportunities. And when we find ourselves moving through these old opportunities, what we see and what we experience is not always what we want. We think we want it, but we find out that we don't know anything about it. And so henceforth, we have to go through a life's lesson, sometimes over and over and over, until we get it right. And so we want to really begin to experience how to set ourselves free. And there's so many different ways that you can set yourself free. How many of you go to a chiropractor? What is the chiropractor doing? Setting you free of what? Pain. Maybe you have some spasms going on. Maybe you got jaw pain. Maybe you got cramps in your body. So what's happening is that individual that you go to understands how to do what? How to release you. How to release you from pain that you're experiencing in your life. Then you have licensed massage therapists. They're doing the same thing. Huh? Licensed massage therapist is doing the same exact thing. That person is releasing you through all the stress from the tight muscles in your body. Then you got crystal healers. Crystal healers are releasing you. Who else can release you? You got a massage person. You got a Reiki master. You got a reflexologist that can release you. You got all of these different people that can help you do whatever you need to do so that you don't have to walk around with physical pain. But guess what? Even though you're not walking around with that physical pain, you're carrying some mental pain called worry and anxiety. Mental pain. So you got to set yourself free from all of that. You have to find ways. You have to make those inroads to free yourself of all of that which is really the baggage in your life. You don't need to be carrying around drama. And neither do you need to be looking for drama. A lot of people are always looking for that drama. And it's interesting when people are looking for drama. They usually find it. Do you know anybody that does that? I've used to do that. I used to think I was so bored. This is back when I first got on the path, back in the 70s. Man, I thought I would be bored. So I was living on Long Island. I would jump on the train, get into Queens, hop on the subway, because I was bored. Well, what it really amounted to over the years, the first 10 years, was finding out was I didn't like sitting with me. I didn't like to sit and get inside my head. I didn't like to get inside my heart and clear it out and get to know what is it that I'm holding on to. What are my doubts? What are my fears? Who was I blaming? Always pointing the finger at someone else, but not looking at myself. Then I had a reawakening and I changed. I met people who could help me realize it's not about what's going on outside. It's about what's going on inside. What is it that you're angry about? This program is about setting yourself free. Ask yourself, what are you angry about? What are you upset about? Write it down on a piece of paper. What are you upset about? What do you have doubts about? What are your expectations about people, your life? And then you realize that half of that, or probably more than half of that, will be based on every kind of upset you had in your life. Whether it happened through a relationship or through a job. Again, an expectation through a relationship, through a job. That you had a career that maybe didn't work out, a relationship that didn't work out. An opportunity that came your way that you splurged, you just didn't take advantage of it. Or maybe you did, it just didn't go anywhere at that time. Or maybe you were working on a project and you expected it to go in a certain direction and didn't because there were just too many variables involved. Then, if you really look at what you have on paper, what you begin to realize is maybe what you have on paper is all these doubts, all these illusions, all these things that don't work anymore. We have to come to the realization that sometimes we spend a lot of time working on old data that doesn't really have any more validity. Maybe we have low self-esteem. How many times do you put yourself down and someone gives you a compliment? You say, man, no, not really. You don't like yourself. What is it you don't like about yourself? Have you been finding yourself making comparisons with other people? Sometimes we look in the news media and all these reality shows that are going, I'd like to be like them. And then you find it really falling apart. Then you find that some of these things can be set up through the people that are producing the shows. They want people to be at each other's throats. Yeah, you might get a little $25,000 for it, $50,000 a year per person. But then in the end, when you look back at all of those shows, not only were you in the show, but millions of other people are watching you act out in front of them. Real life issues, acting out. So you begin to see that there's a lot of false expectations in being a star. Well, we have to set ourselves free. We have to look at the things that we are really doing and realize everything. If we are this divine being, everything has potency. It has energy behind it. It's rooted and seated with energy. And we have to begin to realize that this energy overwhelms us all the time. So we have to begin to look at that and raise our consciousness about it and understand that there has to be a change. When we can understand that there has to be a change, then we can make it better. We can make it better so that we are not being overwhelmed by things, but are being blessed by things. This is what we want to be able to do. We want to become blessed by things. We want to receive the blessings. But how can we receive the blessings if we are standing in our own way with doubt, with fears, with illusions? And what are the illusions and doubts and fears? Everything that we expected something to be that didn't happen for us. And we fell apart. Well, we're not going to fall apart anymore. We're going to build ourselves back up. We're going to realize that we don't have to devalue ourselves. We're going to realize that no one else can describe, no one else can say, no one else can paint the picture for us. We are going to paint that picture for ourselves. That's right. You are an artist. You are a divine artist. You're going to pick up the paintbrush and you're going to paint your life new. You are a divine musician. You're going to compose notes that will make your heart be able to amplify and act like a generator and give forth good healing tones to everybody that you meet. You're going to realize that inside of you, there's this loving being that functions on unconditionality. If that word exists. This is coming not through just me, Bishop Francis E. Revels-Bey, but the angelic forces in our lives is expressing this. We have to put down the old things that didn't work. We have to put down those expectations that caused us to worry about things we haven't had no business worrying about. What we have to do is get back to that inner source. How can we be the best person we can be if we're not willing to look at the truth of who we've become? So we have to start releasing. We have to stop pointing fingers at other people. We have to begin to realize that we can move into a divine expression with ourselves. We can become this beauty. We can become this harmony. We can become this enlightened being, this enlightened soul. But we have to step into the reality of who we are. We're divine beings. We're beloved. We're being in love with the divine. We're being loved or cared for or nurtured by the divine. The universe has our back. It knows what we're about to do before we are about to do it. So we have to align ourselves and attune ourselves back to the divine presence of ourselves. We got to set up the soul. You know, Native Americans and Aboriginals do what? Soul retrieval. The soul has been fragmented through the journey of life. That's right. There's some fragment of you that's been left someplace else. You can go to a shamanic person. They can drum for you and open you up and open up all the walls of your auric field. and then pull back into your being all the fragmentations of your soul essence back inside of you. These things are happening all the time. Maybe you need to walk on hot coals so you can know that you can face the fire in your life. Well, some people walk on the hot coals and still run from the fire in their lives. So you got to find out what is fueling your fear. You got to find out what's fueling your anger. You got to find out what's fueling your worries and your anxieties. And it all boils down to what you expected something to be, where you expected someone to meet you, where you wanted someone to be a part of your life, but you weren't a part of your own life. See, we're the guardians of our own lives. We're the sentinels of our own lives. We are spiritual, sentient beings. We have feelings that run deep, like ancient rivers, a musician used to say. Ancient rivers. Our soul is running deep. Our soul, the spirit of us, knows what we're here to do, but we have to get in touch with it. And this is why from one millennium to the next, meditation is the key. Meditate, not just contemplate, meditate. When you contemplate, that's important too. Con means together. Temple plate, the right side of your temple over there, on the right side of your head, and left side of your temple. These are temple plates. So you're going to contemplate, you're going to contemplate, you're going to think. But now, much as you want to think and go back into the state of remembrance, it is easier for you to meditate and relax your emotions. Relax the thoughts. And when the thoughts come to a halt, and it's just pure silence, you're in the chamber of your own heart of pure science. This is where the feather of truth floats into your being and creates an inner wellness. You might have tears that flow, but you're going to grow into peace. You might hear the shattering of anger falling away from you. You might see the peeling away of old emotions being ripped from you. But you're going to realize that you are being set free. So we have less than 3 minutes to go. What do you want to do to set yourself free? You're going to wake up every morning and reprogram yourself with a new program. You can say, I'm a divine being. I'm not this human. I'm in this human form. It comes and goes, but I'm this divine being. I have this pure state of remembrance, this pure state of divine grace, where I don't have to expect anything on the outside. I'm going to create it from the inside out. I'm going to love myself more, and everybody that I see that falls in front of me, I'm going to love them too. Even if I had difficulties with them, I'm going to love them anyway. And that's the most difficult thing to do. That's the most difficult thing to do, to bestow love or express love to someone who you felt who hurt you. And maybe they did hurt you. And then some people hurt without knowing that they're hurting you, and some people willfully hurt you. There's plenty of people we see on the planet that willfully go out of their way to hurt people emotionally, to tie people up mentally and oppress them. But you know, while they're busy doing that, they're locked up on the inside, out of anger. No love, no self-love. So we want to let go of old things that no longer work and step into those new things. We're going to set ourselves free with unconditional love and remembrance by saying, right now I see and decree that I am setting myself free every day with unconditional love, divine grace, awareness, and remembrance that I am a divine being expressing love here on this planet. And all I expect is to be loved. Well, beloveds, have a good day. Set yourself free. See you back here next Monday at 12 noon. go to my Facebook page and check out my announcement, Circle of Grace 1. Until next time, remember that divine grace is a blessing as we are alive and well in the age of remembrance.